Hello, Dave here with emergencyprepguy.com. I appreciate you stopping by. As always, if you get any benefit out of these videos, please don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you'll be notified when we do future videos. We always really appreciate it when people do that. So today's the fourth and final video of my chicken coop build. I'm excited to have it done. I'm excited to have this chicken coop and to move the chickens into it. So let's get right into it and show you this final phase, the wrap-up phase of this chicken coop build.
What you see me doing here is I'm putting together the actual main doors of the back of the chicken coop itself. And that's what I'm building. And if you notice behind me, the chicken coop run isn't built yet. That's because I did this during the time that I was filming the video part 3 of my chicken coop build. I just didn't include it in that video, but I wanted to include it here so that you guys could know the measurements and see the basic process. Okay, I just finished putting together the two main doors that go on the back of the coop. If you've seen Carolina Coops, you'll understand how these work. These main doors will have hardware cloth on the back, and they'll have another door that opens up from within them inside this, and that way you can open up just the interior door or just this smaller door, and there'll be hardware cloth the chickens can't get out, but you allow lots of airflow. So just to give you the measurements on these, the tops and the bottoms are, and the whole width of the gate is 44 and 3/8 inches long. And then these 2x4s that go in between here are 21 and 7/8 inches long. So that's how that all went together. Okay, I don't know if you can see this very good, but I've got the inside doors done that'll go inside these main doors for the back of the coop. And the measurements on these, the long sides of these inner doors are 37 and 3/16 inches. And the measurement for this one, for some reason I always forget the measurement of this one, so I'm gonna measure it one more time. The measurement of this one is 14 and 3/4 inches minus just a slight bit of material from the cut. So that's how that all went together. Okay, you can see I've got both the inner doors and the outer doors for the back of the chicken coop all painted. Over here I've got some white scraps of plywood that'll fit in here. They're painted and they're drying. What I'm gonna do is get a router and put a groove around the edge so that I can cut the plywood to fit right in that hole and drop it in. So we had a really big rainstorm all day yesterday and all last night, and when it hit yesterday I was out here working, and I had to quickly move all the power tools. Luckily I have a roof, so I quickly had to move it all under there. Also, that was all that raining yesterday and last night. Raining as hard as it was a good test for the feeders that I did in the quail hutches earlier. I was kind of a little bit worried, you know, with the sideways wind, whether or not I'd get any moisture on a really hard rain. Both of them look perfectly dry in there.
Okay, I want to take just a quick second and show you where I'm at right now. You can see up here I've put a 2x4 divider or support 2x4 up there, and I've got the 2 pieces of plywood there. I did the same thing on both there and on the back side of the chicken coop itself. You can see I've got the ladder for the chicken coop, for the front of the chicken coop there. I'm gonna get that painted and get it put there. I had this stuff in since it rained because it was kind of nice working under there during the heat of the day under the shade. But I'm gonna get it moved out so that I can get all the hardware cloth put on. Want to show you something real quick that I did when we had all those rains the other day. I started getting moisture in the nesting box because I had the roof just like right there. So I've got it overhung. It's nice and solid. I think it'll be fine. If I ever have any problems, I can always redo this piece of plywood and extend the plywood out, which I just don't want to do that right now, but I might do that in the future. So the other thing is in here, obviously I put some removable dividers in the nesting box, but for the moisture I put some door stops all the way around. So that'll solve the moisture problem. If you look back here, you can see I got the boards, plywood and everything up there. Got the doors hung. Carolina Coop, they have a little different design. I did a simpler design on the door. The way they design their doors, they have door stops, and I can see why. There's bigger gaps in here than I suppose there would be. So I'm gonna do my normal door stops in there. On this bigger door, I can't really open this for you because of all this vegetation. That's a project for after I get the chicken coop done. I'm gonna clean out a lot of this vegetation so I've got enough room to have good access back here. Okay, I've got a little better access from this side, so I'm gonna get in here and see if I can show you these doors a little bit. I don't have the barrel bolts in that'll hold these yet, so I've just been holding it closed with a clamp. Okay, you can see I've got a similar design to Lazy Lab Acres. It's a simpler design than what Carolina Coops uses. Okay, I just wanted to show you really quick. I got the tracks done that'll be placed below and above each of the windows in the chicken coop. That'll allow me to have a piece of plywood that I can slide in front of the window to block the wind to protect the chickens in the wintertime. I made them out of just simple 1x2s, and if you can see here, I notched them with a router, and I cut them roughly twice the width of each of the windows. So the longer ones were cut at 32 inches and the shorter ones were cut at 22 inches. So we'll come back when we get a little bit more done.
Okay, I just finished building this door for the chicken coop run. The measurements on mine is the two sides are 57 3/4. The top and the bottom are 28 3/8. And this little internal 2x4 is 21 7/16. I didn't film the process of putting it together, but it's just basic 2x4s secured together with pocket hole screws. So now I just got to get it painted. Okay, I want to show you this feeder that I'm building and kind of show you the internal parts and the different measurements. Okay, hopefully you can see this okay. This is the feeder that I'm building. If you watched my earlier videos where I built a couple of quail hutches, I had a similar design. It's a little bit different. In those hutches I had a 1x4 and a 1x2 attached together like this, and I didn't have this bottom board down here. This design I'm trying two 1x4s there, as you can see, and these are just 2x4s cut at a 45-degree angle to fit in there, and then I cut the edge of this board at a 45-degree angle, and then I cut it at a 45-degree angle here as well, and then this wasn't cut. I cut this end, but that was unnecessary. This flat end against the 45 end makes it go more or less straight down parallel with this 2x4. So what this will look like, helps get a visual here, is we'll go together like that. They'll be, it's probably, my other feeders for the quail hutches were 6 inches thick. This one's probably going to be closer to 7. I'll give you the exact dimensions when I get it figured out. But there'll be a piece of plywood here. There'll be a plywood bottom already, just getting drowned. This must be ladybug season. There're just ladybugs everywhere, and I've been bitten by a couple of them. Ornery little buggers. They're cute, but they're ornery. Anyway, so that's what that's going to look like. The front of this looks like this. There'll be a 2x4. The 2x4 of the base of the run will be underneath this. So combined, this hole for the chickens will be about 8 inches up, which should allow the all sizes of chickens to be able to get in there. I'm trying, instead of a bunch of holes, I'm trying an open design like that. My goal is to have the feed down in here low enough that they can't spill any, which the feeder on the omelet has a long thing like that, but the food's down low enough and they don't hardly spill anything out of that. So I'm hoping that it'll be similar to that. Okay, as you can see, I've got the different components of the feeder. I had them drying overnight. Those of you that have seen the when I built the quail hutches, you'll recognize that's the lid that's going to go on top of the feeder. That's the main box of the feeder. The back and the sides. This over here is the front. That's where they'll stick their head through. That will be secured to the front of this. If you can see over there, I've got a couple of boards, 2x4s drying, and those what I'll screw into the run, and then I'll screw this into those boards to hold it on to the run. So I'll show you more when I get it all put together. Okay, the chicken coop is done. I want to give you a tour. You can see I've got the chickens in it. So I'll just kind of walk around and give you the tour. So I apologize that if my camera is shaky at all. I'll try to hold it steady.
You can see I've got a temporary watering jug suspended from the ceiling in there. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to put a automatic watering system in here, both in this chicken coop run as well as in the 2 quail hutches. And so that'll be upcoming future videos if you want to stay tuned for that. Here's the door. You know, it's just basic 2x4 with hardware cloth on it and a gate latch. These girls are gonna want to come out. Stay in there, guys. So you can see I just have a little string in there so that when I'm inside, I can pull on that to open it and not get locked in there. If you look over here, you can see the ladder for the chicken coop. You can see I got a bunch of unpainted steps on there. That was because they were having trouble. I didn't have enough steps on there, and they were having trouble getting up the ladder because it was painted and slippery. And anyway, so I stuck a bunch of those on there. As you can see, they don't have any trouble now, even on the painted ones. It's just they needed more steps. And so I don't want to take them out of I don't want to let them free range for a few days because they're still, as you can see, they all kind of hang out here. They want to go out. They're wanting to go to their other coop that they're used to. So I'm just going to keep them in here, not let them free range for a couple of days till they get well established that this is their coop, their new home. And then once I start letting them free range again, I'll lock them out for a couple hours so that I can paint the new steps that I have there. Inside, they've been in the coop 2 nights. Both times they didn't know how to get on the roost bars, and so I lifted a few of them up there and put them on the roost bars, and they stayed there and slept there all night. So I keep putting a few up each night, and hopefully they'll learn that that's where they're supposed to sleep, and they'll figure out how to get up there. Now this thing here is something I'm super excited about. This is the feeder. Those of you that have seen my videos on the 2 quail hutches that I built will recognize this is quiet girl. Will recognize this as a similar design. Instead of 6 inches in diameter, it's 7 inches in diameter. Has the same kind of a lid. I just put this little roof on there because water will come down and land on it. It's all painted and tight. You know, there's not going to be any water. I'm positive there's not going to be any water get in there, but especially with that roof on there. But if you look inside, you can see that it holds a lot of food, a lot of feed. It holds a little bit more than a 50-pound bag of food, which is what I was going for. So I'm excited about that. I've shown you this already, the nest box. They're figured it out already, but they're using it more as a place to sleep. They haven't really started laying. When you change homes, it causes a little bit of stress, so they've only laid a couple of eggs anyway, and they've just laid them down here. But they'll figure it out as they start getting used to this being their home there. Especially once they start resting on or sleeping on the roost bars, then they won't want to be in the nest box because they like to go to the highest spot, and the roost bars are higher than the nest box. So I want to show you the inside of this. Oh, somebody laid an egg, and they got to get used to where they're supposed to be laying their eggs. Let me get it. Thank you, sweetie. So I'll set this in the nest box so they kind of get the hint. Here's the feeder. You can see So here's the feed box. You can see the food comes around, but it's right up where they can reach it. It's actually a couple inches deep in there too, but they can't really, at least I haven't noticed them really spilling it at all yet. I think it'll be good, and they won't be able to waste any food. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, up here, as you can see from the inside there, if you can see that, I have sliders that I've built over each of the windows. Like this window that we're looking through, you can see I can slide wood in front of it, so I'll be able to close off the wind in the winter. Probably going to get an automatic door for this, not sure yet. Okay, as we come around this side, I want to show you in the back. I still haven't gotten all that vegetation out of there. That'll be a project for a future day. But you can see the inside door opens, and I've got hardware cloth in there, so on hot days I can open it up and give them even extra ventilation. And it's they can't get out and nothing can get in. And then here's the door. Looks like we've got a couple of eggs laid in here. Put those eggs in there so they get used to the idea that that's where they're supposed to lay. They kicked all of their straw out of those nest boxes. So this is all still foreign to them. So they're still trying to get adjusted to this being their home. As soon as they can get up on these roost bars on their own, they won't try to sleep in the nest boxes anymore. What I did for bedding is I just got some normal wood shavings from the cow ranch, I think it was. I would have probably gone with Carolina Coops bedding that they have, but it was $60 a bale right now. It's higher than it used to be, and they were back ordered. They didn't have it. I still probably would have bought it, except that it's back ordered, so we went with what we could get. And here you can see the sliders that I have in front of each of the windows so that I can shut off the air for wintertime. Okay, well that's it. I appreciate you guys watching this all the way to the end. I hope it was interesting. We'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks so much.